Moving from your university days, I mean, you're done with school. Now you're in the professional world. What
Yeah.
was that biggest challenge you faced, and how did you navigate it?
So I think the biggest challenge actually was even before entering the job market was actually finding a job, like being able
Hmm.
to secure one. I went for so many interviews after I graduated, sent in so many applications. And the one that I got was the one that someone sent me. So being
Yeah.
in that company, I didn't really enjoy it. It was a really big team. There was a lot of office
Hmm.
politics, a lot of targets that had to be met, unrealistic targets as well. So there was a lot of pressure to do well.
Mary Akinyemi lives in Dublin and works full-time as an assistant manager at Fidelity International, a global American asset management firm. She holds a master's degree in mathematics with professional experience from the University of Exeter. Outside of her professional role, Mary runs a business specializing in candles, reed diffusers, and luxury gift services. She enjoys cycling, listening to music, and sees hosting guests in her home as a meaningful way to give back to the community. So, ladies and gentlemen, without no further ado, let us welcome to the studio today Miss Mary Akin. Hi, Mary. Welcome. Um, my first question is, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, a little background story about, your life as a child, how, your background, your family upbringing, how that actually shaped your life and who you are as a person today?
Sure. Hi, Glory. Thank you very much for having me. So I was born in England, but I grew up in Italy. So I grew up in a small village called Maenza in the middle of nowhere in the countryside. So that gave me a very nice introduction to the world in the sense that I was always surrounded by nature, always surrounded by mountains. I grew up in a boarding school because my parents own a boarding school. So that is where I had most of my formative childhood years. So I was always surrounded by people during term time. And I guess that enabled me to meet different types of people from different backgrounds as well. Learned how to, interact with people, see if people had issues with me, how to resolve those as well. And how Italy and being in boarding school shaped me, I think it made me a very people person. So I'm a very social person, but I also like my space. So I really enjoy hosting people at my house. We just had a potluck for Valentine's Day last week, Saturday. That was really great. And I think it's important as a global citizen to be able to interact with people from all different types of backgrounds.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. How did having parents who are in the academic field, how did that influence your approach to learning, your personal growth, and pursuit for knowledge?
Yeah, so my parents own a boarding school. They have owned it since the 1990s. And my mom is a nurse. My dad is a PhD holder in engineering. And having academic parents meant that I was always studying and I actually was really bad at math. Very, very bad at math. Yeah, I guess I challenged myself one summer and I took like past question papers and I solved them until I became really good. So my dad has always challenged me. He's the one that taught me maths, physics, religious studies, economics. So he's always been an inspiration to me. My mom also, having studied nursing, leaving Nigeria, going to London, where it's a country that a city that she was not familiar with, and, improving her education. I guess that has always inspired me. And yeah, I'm always looking out to learn more things, train myself, upskill now that I'm working as well. And it's all thanks to my parents.
Yes, I could definitely attest to that. You mentioned that you did not really like mathematics, or you didn't really know how to, you were not good in maths. So how did that actually change, in the sense that, okay, I know you just mentioned you took the challenge to start practicing and just learning on your own. Was your other siblings also good in mathematics, or was it just you? And was it just, okay, I want to take this challenge up for myself without no external influence?
Yeah, it was a personal thing. I don't know. At the time, my sisters were not at my level because obviously I'm older than them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was just something I was tired of. I was tired of getting like 14%, 9% in mathematics. And yeah, I decided to challenge myself one summer and it paid off.
So how is it studying mathematics at the university level? Like, was that actually fun? Because I feel like it must have been a little bit intense, because I also have another friend who is a mathematician, and I'm wondering, how do you guys do it? Isn't it boring, or like just there? Just give me a short explanation about your university days and how it was studying mathematics.
Yeah, so studying mathematics at university was a love-hate relationship. So I did economics and maths at Sheffield, then I went to do a master's at Exeter. And mathematics is such an interesting subject because one day you get it, the next moment you don't. So it's a constant kind of battle of, loving it, hating it, trying to understand it, going to your lecturers, asking for help, solving questions with your classmates. So yeah, it takes a lot of work and consistency in order to be really, really good at it.
Okay. So moving from your university days, I mean, you're done with school. Now you're in the professional world. What was that biggest challenge you faced, and how did you navigate it? A fresh graduate, and now you're in the job market, trying to find the best fitted career or job for you. How was that for you?
So I think the biggest challenge actually was, even before entering the job market, was actually finding a job, like being able to secure one. I went for so many interviews after I graduated, sent in so many applications, and the one that I got was the one that someone sent me. So a former classmate of mine was working at a company called Hargreaves Lansdown, and she sent me a message on Instagram one day. She's like, the company's hiring, if you're interested, apply. She sent me the link to apply. I applied and I got in. So that was really a work of God after, waiting for so long. Being in that company, I didn't really enjoy it. It was a really big team. There was a lot of office politics, a lot of targets that had to be met, unrealistic targets as well. So there was a lot of pressure to do well. But I'm really grateful for where I am now. I'm in a role that I really love, with a manager and a team that I really appreciate and help me in my career.
Awesome. As an assistant manager at a very, I think, important, great organization, what does your role entail? Like, what is your day-to-day task you have to fulfill, and what excites you most about doing your job?
Yeah, so as an assistant manager, I work a lot with different teams. I also have a lot of meetings to attend on a daily basis. So it's making sure that my calendar is organized. I know what I'm doing as soon as I log in, check my Microsoft Outlook calendar. What I really love about my job is working with my team. They're a great bunch of people. So we have 2 people in India, and we have 2 others here in Ireland, and then my senior manager. So I really enjoy working with them because they're just so easy to get along. The communication is great, and the team work and the team bonding is at a very high level. So yeah, I really enjoy working with my team.
Awesome. Do you guys do any particular team bonding activities weekly, or is it like maybe once in a while you go out, you hang out and stuff like that?
Yeah, I wish we did more, but it's more or less once in a while. The people in Ireland, we go out for a meal. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So working in asset management comes with its own, pressures. How do you handle when it feels like the work or the job is quite demanding?
Yes, so I have a very deadline-based role. I actually had 2 major deadlines yesterday, which I was able to complete on time. I think if the pressure is a bit too much and I just have too much on my work plate, what I do is I just ask for help. I didn't used to do that before, and my manager noticed that sometimes I would be struggling with my workload, and she'd be like, always ask for help if you need help. So now I'm bold enough to realize that asking for help is not a weakness, it's actually a strength, because you realize you don't have capacity and you can, unburden some of your work onto others in your team.
Very, very important. Very, very key. I think not just even in the career and the professional aspects of life, but also in your personal life, in other aspects of life, when you're becoming overwhelmed about whatever you're busy with, it is important to ask for help. It's important to seek for advice and get the opinions of other people, because nobody's an island, so there is always for a community most of the time, and that's good to know. Okay, you're an entrepreneur. You also have and you run a candle and weed diffuser business, which you have created for a while now. I think running, if I'm not mistaken, 3-4 years or thereabout.
5 years actually, since 2020. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, 5 years. And alongside a gifting or luxurious gifting service. And my question would now be, what inspired you to start these ventures, and how have you been able to balance it with your full-time job and also your personal goals and plans and, everything you have going on, because you have a lot going on?
Yeah. I would say it was during the pandemic. So I started with candles. And I was going through a lot of candles. I was burning candles, going to the shop, buying them. Because obviously nobody had anything to do at that time. So just staying at home, and I wanted my space to smell nice. And then I was on Instagram at a period, and I realized that a lot of people were making their own candles. So I was like, how hard can this be? Let me try it myself. And the rest is history. I started making the candles myself. My sister encouraged me to make larger ones, which I started doing last year, and they've gone really, really well. And I did my branding and my logo in, I think, 2023. Did the packaging for one of my products last year, and now working on a second set of packaging. So it's been really great.
Awesome. So how has the profit how has the return in investment been so far since you started?
It's been okay. I mean, sometimes there are events that I go to, I don't really make that many sales. I signed up for a market last month in January. That market was cancelled 15 minutes after we arrived. So it's kind of hit and miss depending on the event and the footfall at the event. But word of mouth sales have been going really well. People recommend my candles or my gifting service to others. They reach out to me. I just recently did one for Valentine's Day, which was great. And just, going bit by bit.
Awesome. Well, okay. So entrepreneurship is one. And then we have the corporate life, which is another ball game entirely. And these both different areas or career path, they actually demand certain skills. What skills have you cultivated over the years that has actually even helped you in building your business and your brand?
Yes, I would say my communication skills. So often I have to deliver presentations as part of my role. So being able to concisely put the information together, rehearsing, delivering the information is something that I need when I'm at events, because people ask me, oh, what about this candle? What about that candle? And I have to, talk to them about the candle, encourage them to buy it subtly, So I would say my communication skills is something that I've been able to transfer from my corporate world to my entrepreneurial world.
Awesome. and you're a good, should I say, a good talker.
Thank you.
You can convince anybody about anything, so that's good. I think it's a good skill to have, truly speaking. What has been the most rewarding and also most challenging part of running a business for you?
I think the rewarding part is getting feedback. So after people have bought the candles and they're like, "Oh, it smells amazing, it's great." I'm even seeing people's reactions at events when they actually smell the candles. That is definitely rewarding. What is challenging is when I have a quiet business season. So at the moment, it's been a bit quiet since the beginning of January, but I have a few events coming up. So hopefully it won't be as quiet. But yeah, that's definitely challenging, I think, for any small business owner, because you're like, oh, if I don't make sales, I have all this stock, what am I going to do with it? But it's a matter of just being patient and also being proactive and trying to find out information about events that you can actually attend and sell your products at.
Okay, so outside of work, like I mentioned, you're a very active person. You do a lot of things on the side, and I know you enjoy cycling, music, hosting people. How do these activities contribute to your all-round well-being, and how important is it?
Yeah, so I enjoy cycling. It's really liberating. I find myself in a free, happy place whenever I'm on my bicycle. It's a good form of exercise as well, and it just helps me to clear my head, especially when I have a lot going on. And I think that contributes to my well-being, because it helps to clear my head. So it really helps with my mental health, my mental well-being. Listening to music is a favorite thing of mine to do. I listen to music almost 24/7. And probably the only time when I'm not listening to music is when I'm sleeping. So that really helps to calm my nervous system. And then hosting people in my home is just something that I recently found that I enjoy doing. So I'm hoping to do a bit more of that this year. I had the first big event last weekend, so hoping to have a few more as the year progresses.
Awesome. Let's talk about hosting people. We know how important community is, but also when you talk about hosting people, do you single-handedly cater for the food, the drinks, and everything, or it's shared within the participants, or how do you go about that?
Good question. So the two events that I've had, the one last year and last weekend, they were potlucks. So people just brought food, brought drinks as well. And then I also contributed and I cooked and obviously made my space available. But I often organize it with 3 other people. So we share the workload. But yes, I have to give kudos and give a shout out to my sister, Rhoda, who often hosts people at her house, and she pays for everything. She buys the drinks, the food, the snacks, everything. The goal is to eventually be like Rhoda, but for now, it's potlucks and people bring the food, so there's not that much pressure on me to actually cook and buy things.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually admire Rhoda as well. She's like, everybody come. it's actually,
she's a hero. She's amazing.
Yeah. She's doing great. I also understand the importance of, they say put your money where your mouth is. Don't do too much so that you don't incur on yourself because you want to please people in quote. But I think that's a good thing. Hosting people, it's awesome. Okay. I would like to ask, what are the 2 biggest lessons life has taught you so far?
I think I've learned that people come and people go. I don't really like saying goodbyes, but then I realized that certain people come with certain phases of your life. I think I was at a point in my life where I would have friends who were single and they would be around, I would have access to them. Then once they got married, they just kind of disappeared from the face of the earth. And it used to hurt me, but now I understand that, life brings its seasons, and my duty is to just accept the seasons as they are, make the most of them, and just continue on. Another lesson that life has taught me is that good things take time, and that, you know, especially in one's career, when you're working hard towards something, you think you deserve a promotion earlier than it's coming, you shouldn't give up. You should just keep on showing up, keep on being consistent, keep on doing the work. And the good thing that you are working towards will eventually find its way to you.
True. Yeah, I agree. Very important. The life is in phases, you know, and sometimes those phases you might think, okay, this is not what I bargained for, and it's not looking good. It's emotionally draining, or it's not what you expected, especially when it has to do with people.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It has to be flexible and open. And sometimes life also happens to people, and you just don't know how to meet in the middle point. It's you kind of like drift apart, and one has to just be open to say, okay, this is what is happening now. Let's move on from there, or see how to mend it.
Exactly.
And, okay. What is the biggest or the best career advice that anyone has given you? Or let me even go back to your parents. Looking at your parents, what would you say is one advice your dad or mom has given you that has helped you throughout your, you know, as an adult, and also living, you know, in your purpose, and, you know, doing life as someone who is now, you know, trying to find her own roots, you know, know herself, living the professional dream. Yeah. What is that to advice? Or
I think most African parents probably tell their kids, it is, you are blessed to be a blessing. So I think it's all about, so they taught us that we are channels of blessing, and that we're supposed to give as much as we can to the community that we find ourselves in. And I think that's really helped me to be kind, to be helpful, to be generous where I can, and to just be a blessing wherever I go.
Awesome. I agree. You cannot be a believer or a Christian and not be and not have that, especially if you come from a Christian background, not have that in your mind, rooted down in your spirit. That, I mean, just like the Bible says, I mean, you are called into the faith so that you bring others, and the same thing goes for when you receive, you're able to also give. You should give. Many people find themselves stuck at the moment in their careers or even personal life. What would you say to someone who is struggling to find clarity and direction? And how did you find your direction and clarity, especially in the path, the career path which you have chosen for yourself?
So I think in one's career, if you're feeling stuck, just take a step back, reflect on all you've achieved, and kind of map out where you want to go. Where do you see yourself in 2 years' time? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? What do you want to do? Do you want to be a specialist? Do you want to be a manager? Do you want to be, you know, a project leader? What exactly do you want? What field do you want? And then go online and look for the opportunities that you think you deserve. I would also say networking is very good, and you can only network either via LinkedIn or at in-person events. I would say, you know, upskill, do courses on LinkedIn, YouTube, Udemy, Coursera, you know, make sure that you are competitive in the market that you find yourself in. In your personal life, if you're stuck, kind of try and identify the reason why you're stuck as well. If you're a Christian, pray, obviously, to find clarity and find direction. But if you're not a Christian, I would say, again, just map out what exactly you want in life, and figure out if there are any habits that you have that are hindering you from experiencing the life that you want. For me, how did I find purpose in my career? So I actually wanted to go into investment banking. And when I was at university, when I finished, I applied everywhere: Citibank, Morgan Stanley, Nomura, JP Morgan, HSBC, investment banking, and I didn't get anything. So I fell into corporate actions thanks to my friend who suggested that application to me on Instagram. From corporate actions, I moved into equity analytics, which is what I am in now. I actually want to end up in equity research. That will probably be a few years down the line. But in the meantime, I'm trying to see what are the things that I can do in order to put me in a good stead when I eventually apply for those roles. So yeah, if you're ever feeling stuck in life, just remember that it's just a phase, it's just a season. It won't last forever. But the thing is not to stay stuck. The thing is try and find out how you can get yourself unstuck, either by talking to someone as well is also very important, talking to God, and just, mapping out the life that you want to see yourself in.
True. So now I would come back to the question of, having a community at a time when you're applying for that particular job that you wanted and you weren't getting the response, positive response, and everything was more like denials and no's. How did you cope in that phase? And what was the thing you did or things you did that helped you to stay grounded regardless of the feedbacks you were getting from those, companies?
So I had a mentor. She was really helpful. And I think everyone should have a mentor for different parts of your life, a spiritual mentor, a career mentor, a life mentor as well, or a life coach, as some people call it. And I remember one time I was just tired of getting rejections. And I told her, we were on the phone one day, and I said, I'm very tired of getting these rejections. I think I'm going to take a break over summer and resume during the autumn. This was a few years ago. And she was like, no, don't take a break. Like, if you take a break, you're going to lose momentum and you'll find it hard to, regain that momentum after a few months. She said, keep on applying. So I kept on applying. And thanks to her advice, I'm in the role that I am in now, because I applied so I started out in Fidelity International, which is where I work at the moment. I started out as a corporate actions analyst. So in November 2019, I think in October 2019, I was working as a corporate actions assistant at Hargreaves Lansdown in England. And I applied for their senior role as a corporate actions analyst. I got rejected. I applied for the entry-level role at Fidelity, got rejected. So I was like, okay, well, I was still applying other places. Then this was October. In December, they now called me up and they were like, oh, by the way, that job that we rejected you for, we're still hiring for it. Are you interested? And we're still interviewing. I was like, yeah, I'm interested. And long story cut short, 3 weeks down the line, on the 31st of December 2019, I got an offer, which eventually moved me to Ireland. So yeah, I would say, perseverance, persistence, and just keep going. When you're receiving rejections is very important, because you're going to receive rejections, especially when you're applying for jobs. It's something that you will experience, but it shouldn't discourage you. It should just encourage you to keep on applying and just remind you that what you're looking for will eventually find you if you're consistent and do the work that is required.
Very true. Staying prepared while expecting what you've envisioned for yourself to have and to become. Yeah. Awesome. If you could go back in time and maybe give your younger self one huge advice, what would that be?
So I spent most of my childhood in boarding school. I would say try and make more friends, or try and make a few friends that you can hold on to for life. Being the first daughter of the principal didn't really help my situation. A lot of the people that I know from school, I don't really talk to anymore. Not because there's any beef amongst us, but it just didn't happen that way. But then I look at my sisters, Phoebe and Rhoda, and friends that they've had since 2002 or something like that, they're still friends with now. Okay, maybe not 2002, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still friends now. They still met up with some of them in January last month, and my sister had a couple of them over at her house last year, and it was just really nice to see that they've all stayed in touch. They're all now working, earning money, either married with kids. And yeah, sometimes I wish I had that. I don't, which is fine. But, when I eventually do have my own kids, I would definitely encourage them to, make friends at that primary, secondary school level that they can cherish for life. So yeah, I would definitely tell myself, my younger self, like, Mary, just grab one person and make them your close friends so that you can have them later on in your adult life.
True. I can totally relate. And honestly, it's not easy sometimes to make friends, and even it's
Mm,
so that easy to keep them, depending
mm,
on phases one find themselves. Because at some point, my husband was telling me, "Glory, you don't have any female friends." It's true. So I literally I had to go and pray to God
mm,
at
mm.
like ordering my steps and
Yeah,
bring me who would add value to my life and people who would be there, because it's something to have friends that are just distant. But
yeah,
even if you don't communicate all the time, but when you talk, there is this, you guys have, um communicated and talked about things that have happened for months, even in
yeah.
your so it's important because yeah, it's not easy, especially in Europe.
Mm.
Everybody's
Yeah,
occupied.
everyone's busy. Yeah,
Find
honestly.
time to come together once in a while to just strengthen your relationship and friendship. It's very important, and it also keeps you
Mm.
safe.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
agree.
good. It's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we've come to the last question, and my last
Okay.
question would be: how do you define success? What is success for you? And over the course of your career path and studies as well, were there situations or experiences that you had that you felt this was not success enough because like
Mm-hmm.
greater or bigger ambition and plans for yourself at that moment? Just share.
Yeah, I think for me now, in every aspect of life, success is experiencing joy and contentment. So, and satisfaction at every area of life. Be it in your career, your home life, entrepreneurial life, love life. It's being able to say, I am happy, I am grateful, I have what I need, I don't lack anything. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Um, Definitely, I would say starting work at Harry's Lansdowne it seemed like success, but it wasn't success because the pay was so bad. The working
Mm,
environment was toxic. So even though I had finally secured a job, I wasn't exactly happy. But then
mm,
success for me was seeing the beauty in what I did have. God had given me something, being grateful for what I had, still going
mm,
for something better, but just, making the most of the season that I found myself in. So if
mm.
anyone thinks that success is money, fame, you know, all those things fade away, but real joy, real contentment, real satisfaction is the true success.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And now I'm going to ask one last question.
Okay.
How is it like in the waiting room? Because
Mm.
I think in life, everyone goes through a period of waiting. And the
Mm-hmm.
question boils down to, how do you maximize your waiting period? Just share with me what it is like waiting, and how has waiting impacted your spiritual life, your career life, and your personal life.
Yes, I think everyone at some stage in life is waiting for something, waiting for a husband, a wife, a job, waiting to graduate, waiting in the hospital for an appointment, waiting for traffic to move. But for me, I think at the moment, I'm obviously waiting for marriage and waiting to meet someone that God has planned for me. And I think, how has it helped my spiritual life? It's helped me to trust God more and to realize that, I'm not in control of my life, because if I was, I would be married by now. But realizing that God is sovereign, God is in control, God has a plan, and learning how not to be angry at him when it seems like he's delaying, because he's not really delaying, he's just, waiting for the right time to make everything beautiful in his sight. How has it helped my career? So I'm an assistant manager now. Woo, praise God. Waiting helped me to be really consistent and to show up. Because there were days when I was like, these people have been working for them for like 4 or 5 years now. They're not giving me what I want. I beg, let me log into work late. It helped me to think like, no, let me not do that. Let me actually show up and be consistent. How has it helped me in my personal life? It's helped me to understand where other people who are also waiting are coming from, and just being able to encourage them in their own patience, in their own season as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you
You're
for
so
sharing
welcome.
about your life and your career path, your profession. And by the way, guys, Mary is a very bubbly. You know, when they say bubbly, when you say bubbles, that's the personality of Mary, and she's an amazing friend. Thank you for taking our time to speak to us today. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Gloria. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.